Today, in this episode, I want us to be able to input text and then get our answers from our AI chatbot. Alright, so in order for us to be able to test it, let me try out a few examples of what I'm talking about. So we can ask a question, say, write me a short story about a little boy who lives in a car. Okay, then I hit enter. Now after hitting enter, we just wait a bit and you can see that this is the story that we are getting. We can ask for factual information. What is H2O? And then we should get our answer too as well. This is what we are going to be handling in this video. So sit back, relax, and let's just get it started. Alright, so I quickly want us to be able to implement the text generation for us inside the application. I want us to be able to make sure that you can type in your prompt and then at the end of the day get the answers that you're looking for. So let's not waste too much time and just get straight to it. Alright, so first of all, what we want to do is I want us to set up our Gemini, of which we did in the previous video, but I think I missed one part, that is for us to import these things, right? So how do we import them? I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to copy this as well. I'll select with my alt and then I'll just paste it here, or I can just select one and paste it because I don't want the layout to be destroyed. I'll just select. Okay, it's still destroyed anyways. Okay, I don't know, it looks like this one it doesn't seem to have been installed, so let me try installing it again, or let's check the package.json. Okay, it's not here. Well, that's weird. Let's install it. So say npm I force. Okay, so it has been installed basically. Now that we have it installed and we've been able to import everything that we have to import, okay, I guess we can now move on to the main project. Okay, so for the main project, in order for us to be able to get started, we need a function. Okay, and then this function is what we are going to call the run prompt. So we are going to start the function by first naming it. So I'll come here and then I'll say const run prompt. Okay, so run prompt is going to be an asynchronous function, obviously. Okay, then inside here we are basically going to create it. We are just going to make the function empty, right? So we have this run prompt here. Now how do we make sure that we are using our Gemini? Like, how do we log out the text or the answers? Let's quickly open up the browser and go to, okay, so you can see here, when you open up your Gemini API docs, right, you come to the text generation and then you can select this. Okay, so Node.js, then we come down. So here we can just copy just this side, copy just this one, right? And then once we copy that, we can come here and just paste it, right? So as you can see, this is a pre-made prompt, and then after that prompt we can just console log the results, right? But how do we test this out? Let's test this out by first of all bringing a button, and then this button we're just going to say test AI. Okay, then we just pass an on click, and then this on click is going to run the run prompt function, right? Then now that we have this, let's go back into our application. I'm going to click on this, and then I'll just hold Control Shift I to open my my inspect elements tab here. So now that it's here, I just hit okay. It says model is not defined. Yeah, that's very true. The model is not defined. Let's go here and then define the model. So the model is supposed to be coming from our library, right? But it looks like we are not able to import it directly. Yes, which we're supposed to have been able to do, but I don't know, for some weird reason. So in order for us to be able to do that, let's import the model. We'll import it from what? Library or the libraries. So libs, right? And then Gemini. Okay, so now that we have the model here, we should be able to generate the prompt. Okay, all right, so let me quickly refresh the page. Okay, then we can test AI. I just clicked on it, so you're just going to have to wait a bit, and then you can see that the response has been given to us. All right, this is cool. All right, so now we know that we can get the answers from the AI, right? But we need to be able to find a way of making the inputs dynamic, right? So in order for us to make it dynamic, we need to replace this prompt with something that we can actually work with. Now, how we are going to do this is, you realize that the place where we are receiving all these prompts is a form, right? So for this form, let's pass a certain function. So here we can say on submit, and then we pass the handle submit function as popularly used. So I'll just copy this, and then I'll come right under here, and I'll say const, I'll paste that, right? And let's make this an asynchronous function. Alright, so we have this handle submit. Alright, we have this handle submit, the asynchronous yeah, and then we want to make sure that whenever we submit our prompt, we don't want to refresh the page, right? So if we don't want to refresh the page, we're just going to say prevent default. Okay, so prevent default helps us not refresh the page. That is one. Okay, and once we've been able to work on that, we need to be able to get the text that we are getting from our input, right? So how do we do that? We are going to be doing that by, first of all, giving input here a name. So we can say this name is going to be text, right? So text. Now that we've been able to do that, let's create a variable here called text. Okay, so a variable here called text or prompt. Text or prompt, I mean, let's just maintain text. All right, so now that we have text here, right, you want to call this the target. So event.target dot what dot, then you write the name, so the name on the element. So text, if the name was prompt, right, if you like, let's change it, let's make it prompt. So prompt here. Okay, and then prompt, we change this to prompt, right? Then value. Okay, so now that we have this, right, whatever we type in here is stored in here. Okay, now we need to check, right? We need to check if there is no text, right? If there's no text and we are trying to submit something, what should happen? Nothing. Let's just return nothing. All right, that is in case there's no text and you're still trying to submit the form, right? But if in case there is text, right, what do we want to do? We want to make sure that we run the prompt, and then we get the answers, and then we display it on the screen, right, or on the website, right? So for that, we just use the run prompt function, and then we pass the text in. Now, as you can see, we are passing text inside the run prompt function, right? But where is this text going to? We are first of all going to say that this text is going to pass through here, the parameter here, right? Then um then after the text passes through this parameter, we want to pass it here, right? So instead of passing the prompt, you're going to pass the text inside the generate content, so that whatever prompt or whatever question that we ask, we can just get the answer for it straight. Okay. Now that we've been able to set this up, we still want to be able to display the question and the answers, right? So for that, what we can do is I can create two use states for questions and answers. So I can say const const questions set question. So const question set question, and then we give it a use state and then an empty string, and then for the answer, say const answer set answer, right? Then for that, to give it what, we'll give it a use state. All right. So now that we have both of these use states, let's not waste too much time. Let us go back into this run prompt here, and then let's just set the question. So we set question to text. All right. Okay. Then after the answer is gotten, we just remove this console log and then set the answer to the response, right? Okay, so we have this working now. Okay, now that we have it working, we want to be able to display the questions and answers on the screen, right, like I mentioned. So in order for us to be able to do that, let's use our conditional rendering. So for the question here, in case there's a question text, or in case question exists, we want to make sure that we are passing through we are passing a div, right? So we can just open this up, and then the div, we pass in the div, and then this div is going to contain what, the question, right? So div, so question, right? So it's going to contain the question. And we remember that for the when we were given the class names to style them inside our chat application, we realized that we had this message user type of thing, right? Now since this is the question, this is going to be message user, right? And then for the answer, so for the answer, we just have to set the just have to remove the user here, and then this should be the answer. Okay. All right. So yeah, so basically now that we have both of these bad boys working, right, we would want to try it out. Okay, I want us to apply certain stylings first. Okay, I want us to apply certain stylings first, but before we do that, let's just test it and make sure that it's working. Then after that, we just apply the stylings. All right, so let's come here. Okay, yeah, let's remove this button, remove the button real quick. All right, what was the button here? It's here. So can get back into the application, and you can enter a prompt. You can be like, who are you? Well, let's refresh the page first. So who are you? Okay, and then wait a bit, and then you can see that we have the answer here, nice and jumbled up. So how are we gonna fix this, right? It's all jumbled up. Come on, how are we gonna fix it? So how you're going to be able to fix this is we are going to use a package called React Markdown, right? Because as you can see, we have all these star like these asterisk stuff, like for this whole styling thing, right? Now that we understand what is going on here, right? Let's get back into the project and then use our React Markdown as I suggested. So I'll just say npm I React Markdown, right? So React Markdown, don't forget to add your force. So React Markdown is going to install successfully. So once it's done installing, what we'll do is we just import the Markdown component. So Markdown from React Markdown, right? So we have this Markdown from React Markdown. What we are going to be doing is we'll just wrap it around, right? So wrap it around this bad boy here. So Markdown, okay, it's a kind of a mistake here. Okay, so basically you realize that we've wrapped the Markdown around the answer here, right? So if we go back into the application, you realize that everything has been, formatted and anything like that. You feel me? And as you can see, whenever we get the answer, whenever we submit a question, the screen doesn't scroll or the page doesn't scroll. We'll fix that, don't worry. In order for us to be able to fix it, we just get to it. But as you can see over here, the text seems to be quite jumbled up, right? But how are we going to fix that? We're going to fix that by, first of all, applying a few stylings to lists and paragraphs, right? But before we even get to that side, or at the same time while we are trying to achieve this, you realize that there's some space over here that we don't want to have. So let's go to the chat.css and apply some stylings. So over here we'll go to chat.css, and inside the chat here we would apply the gap 20. So gap 20, and then right under here we apply the paragraph and the lists, and then for the paragraph and list you say we want what, 10 pixels up and down, and then 0 pixels left and right. Okay, so now that we have now that we've been able to write this out, you can see that the gap has been placed nicely over here, and then you can see that now we are seeing distinctions between the texts that we have in our answers. Okay, now we've been able to set this up successfully. All right, that is all cool, that is all good, but at the end of the day we want to be able to make sure that whenever we submit a new question, the screen or the page rules, right? So that is going to be quite an easy fix, right? How is it an easy fix? We just go to the use effects here, right? And then we make sure that this thing runs anytime there's a new question, anytime there's an answer, or there's an image. Okay, so yeah, we can quickly just test it out one more time. So give me, or hello, or no, let me see. I'm trying to find something. Write me a 5-second essay about yourself. Okay, so you can see that the screen just scroll down, and then we can ask another question and be like, how, or give me examples of some of the things you can do, and then you realize it will give the answer and it just scrolls down, right? This is great. So we've been able to set this up. Of course, it's not 100% complete, but I want us to make sure that inside the next video we can basically process images and also come up with our answers through them as well. Right? So yes, hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.